Forrest, we're sitting here in front of the Ranger Museum, and it's an incredible place. Anyone that it gets anywhere close to flipping Arkansas, and I would say probably whether they have a Ranger boat or not, they need to come and go through this. This is amazing. It's the history of bass boats. It's the history of Ranger Boat Company, and the history of Forrest and Nina.
Yeah.
I remember some of her bowling cards up there and stuff around. But it's an incredible museum to go through. And back when you decided to build boats. You were a guide on the White River, and you decided to build boats. And I think I bought my first Ranger boat from you in 1968. And could you ever imagine that it would come to this?
Not in my wildest dreams, Jimmy. We were just trying to make a living, trying to keep a job for some people and some good guides in the wintertime. We did general contracting, and then we decided to build a boat, and we'd worked on John boats and covered them with fiberglass. And just never dreamed that it would grow into something like this, but fortunately bass tournaments are starting about the same time, and we got involved in that and have been for 45 years, have sponsored fishing tournaments across the United States, both large and small, and it's been a great experience, and we're enjoying the benefits today of the FLW tournaments that are across the country. They put on over 200 tournaments a year. Many of them are collegiate fishing tournaments and high school fishing tournaments, and that is one of the greatest things that have happened. And the TBF, the Bass Federation, they do such great things, and we've been fortunate to be able to sponsor all of those kind of things across the country. And you and Chris and Nana and I have just lived in a great part of the American history.
We really have.
Had an opportunity to start with nothing and to build a legacy that's pretty good, and we were able to do it, and you too, I'm sure. But Nana and I are here, and we're here because of the efforts of an awful lot of unsung heroes in the background, people at Ranger Boats that have been there for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and some 40 years. And that's the kind of thing that makes a company grow and successful.
Well, we look at the people behind it. The people behind it, and we look at Randy Hopper, the president of Ranger Boat Company. He started working at Ranger at what age?
Well, I think he was 15 maybe.
I heard 16. I was just going to let.
He's supposed to have been 16.
Yeah, he probably was 15, told you were 16.
He was young and in high school and needed a job, and he went to work there, and it was charity about 15 seconds. And when he got out of high school, he was in charge of the night crew of 30 or 40 people working for him there, and he went to school in the daytime and worked with Ranger at night. And many others did that very same thing. Ricky Huddleston's one of them, and White Cloud's one of them, and Kenny Howard's another one. Many of them are still there today that worked when they were in high school at night. And they got the job done. They might have not been as old as they ought to be, but they got the job done.
Well, you mentioned living in this great country and having the opportunity to do this in America, which we have had, and hopefully that will go on in the future. We don't know if it will or not. But the other thing is that living in the part of the country we live, you're flipping Arkansas, I lived on Lake Tenkiller in Oklahoma. We live in places where, and it's a statement you don't hear a lot of anymore, but one of the nicest compliments you could pay a 15 or 16-year-old boy was, that's a hard-working boy.
Yeah,
and you know, that was a great compliment.
Yeah.
The kid's parents liked to hear it, his grandma and granddaddy liked to hear it, he liked to hear it.
Yeah.
And you don't hear that much anymore. So, but we're fortunate that we live in a part of the country that we could build our businesses with those type people that were hardworking.
Absolutely. Through the years at Ranger, we had many offers from different cities, different states, and want us to come and move our plant there and offer quite a bit of incentive. We never did give it any thought because of the work ethic of the people here in North Arkansas. I had rather eat some freight as I had to move off and lose that work ethic that we
I can think of something else that you wouldn't mention. A lot of them people that you would have to either make move to somewhere, or you'd have to let them go and they wouldn't have a job. The people that was there since those high school days where they were in high school. So I think that would probably be a big part of your decision. Although you couldn't do that and feel like you'd done the right thing.
And we didn't even consider building another plant somewhere else because of what I was talking about, the work ethic. We wouldn't never give any thought to closing those. And I don't think current owners would either. I think they recognize what they have here.
And you know, Forrest, of course, you mentioned Chris, and obviously she's been an integral part of in my business right now. And as I'm over here, and I've been out shooting hunting shows this week, and she's been running the pecan harvest at home. I can't even get in touch with her this morning because I'm sure she's on a tractor. And I had asked for Nina to be here, but Nina's working bulls this morning.
We sell registered Angus bulls, and they had planned to work a group of them this morning. And I told Nina, I said, I've got to meet Jimmy Houston at 9 o'clock. Then I was talking to Donna about it.
So now she's mad at me.
Nina's working bulls, and I said, well, I'll meet Jimmy. I'll be working bulls too. We'll be shooting the bull. Either place, we'll be shooting the bull.
Well, you know I couldn't have ever made it all these years in fishing and making a living fishing and television without Chris doing what she does. And I believe that you probably wouldn't have been successful at all, you know.
I don't want to think about it. They're two great ladies, there's no question. Very similar, actually.
They really are. They'll get out there and ride tractors and work bulls and pick up pecans or whatever needs to be done while we're doing whatever we need to be done, even if what we're needing to be done is kind of playing.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, isn't it?
Yeah. You and I actually fished a contest against Chris and Nina right here on the White River, where you were a professional guide.
Yeah.
So I'm with one of the greatest fishermen ever on the White River, and Forrest and I fished a tournament against Chris and Nina.
I forgot it.
Well, I don't blame you for forgetting.
I tried to. Anyway.
Don't tell them what happened. Don't tell them who won.
Folks can guess.
We're going to drop that, change that subject right now. The sad part about it is we weren't catching very many, and what we were catching was small.
Yeah.
And in floating the White River, we floated 20 or some odd miles of White River. You occasionally, we'd run into the girls, and they were talking about how great the fishing was and how big a trout they were catching. And Forrest and I thought, well, they're just talking. But the sad part about it is we had a camera in the boat with them. They had proof.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if I'd ever believed them if that happened. The advancements in boats. I mean, you started, and I've seen so many things happen, and I've told people all over the country, one of the greatest things about Ranger boats is they don't wait till model years. If something needs to be done, they'll do it. If you got an improvement, and several of the things that I've suggested over the years and called and talked to you about, the next Ranger boat I get, they would be built into it, no matter what.
Exactly.
Y'all believe in improving things when it proves. Don't matter if it's the 2012 boat or the 1984 boat or whatever. It needs to be proved, work it right into the line immediately.
Well, it's so much easier to sell somebody something they want other than something you dreamed up. Let's just build it like they want it. That's what you need to do. And that's really how we got in the boat business, just doing custom building. We just had a hull and we'd draw little boxes and fix it any way you wanted, like yours.
Yeah.
And continue to do that today to an extent. We do quite a bit of custom work today, but the evolution of the bass boat in the 45 years is absolutely unbelievable.
Amazing,
you can see some of it here in this place, and I'm not sure that one of these days somebody don't need to start a antique boat show like antique automobiles thing. Boats are a real personal possession.
Oh, they are.
People buy them because they want them. Unfortunately, not many people really need a boat, but they want them, and that's good. And it's good to live in a place where you can have a dream and have a chance to achieve it. But the evolution of the boats is just staggering, and 20 years ago I thought we've gone as far as we can go. There's nothing more we can do to make them better, but that was wrong. They're better every year, and there's always some new things.
And right now you probably wouldn't even begin to make that statement, because looking 3 or 4 or 5 years or even a year or two in advance, they're going to be a lot better than they are now.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just never seems to stop. Yeah.
The technology keeps increasing and improving, and the manufacturing process is unbelievable where it's come to today with robots doing things up there in the plant and that sort of thing. And so it's just a great experience. And people talk about the future sometime. I told somebody yesterday the future will be a lot like the present, only a lot longer. Nobody knows what the future's
I tell you what, buddy, I know you got to get back to your bulls, and we've been shooting a little bull here, but I appreciate so much our friendship that we've had. Goes back to the Eufaula, Alabama tournament, which I believe was the 2nd or 3rd tournament that BASS ever had, that we got to meet and become friends, and we fished together a lot throughout those years and had a great time, and I just appreciate what you've done and for everything, not only the industry, but just as a personal friend, and I appreciate it so much.
I thank you for that, and it's been such a great experience, and you and I together and our wives have met and touched an awful lot of people in that 45
Absolutely.
years, 40-some years we're talking about here, and many of them were in here yesterday, dealers and some of their customers, and everywhere we go, there are people have given us accolades for our contribution to the sport of competitive fishing, and I always try to say, well, that's the result of a lot of people that you hadn't heard of. I've enjoyed the time with you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Forrest.